Hi, I'm Nicola Courtright. I teach art history at Amherst College. I'm also the chair of architectural studies. I spent the fall of 2017 as an ITATI visiting professor, which of course I loved. The project I had was, and still have, was looking into the residences and spaces that Marie de Medici, a French queen, inhabited. Here at ITATI, I wanted to look into the Medici connections with the gardens especially. I had actually been working on this a long time. For a couple of years, I've been really beavering away at home, trying to make this come to pass, to make it believable, and I'd lost confidence in my project. But when I came to ITATI, I was surrounded by all these people from different areas who knew the fields that I was dipping into, who could talk to me about literary theory or philosophy or history. And so my project took on an entirely different shape. I thought that the direction that I was going, that I really developed in ITATI, was going to be a theme for the whole rest of the book. It was an amazing experience. So one of the ways my project developed here, really unexpectedly, was in the conversations with all the fellows. For example, every day at lunch, I could sit with a different fellow who had a different project. I could learn about them, and they could learn about me, and then I became more and more fervent and almost rabid, and started finding people to ask them about my questions to see if they could solve them. Another thing that I did with the fellows was every weekend, a few of us went on a field trip to some Medici garden or some other gardens to try to explore and see what was going on in the Florentine environment that might be good for my Paris experiment, or Fontainebleau. The fact is that the gardener, or the fountaineer, who was at the Archducal Gardens in Florence, actually went to Fontainebleau, where I'm working, and he started to make all these fountains for there. So this Medici idea was actually transformed in some way in my gardens in France. That was news to me. I profited immensely from that. I went to the library, I did barrels of research, and then I wrote more and in a different fashion than I'd written when I was at home. It was great. This is a video that I took when I went to Fontainebleau in October. I left ITATI thinking, oh, what am I doing? But I went to France and thought, oh, I can go to Fontainebleau. I can look at my amazing fountain. And I did, and I recorded it. And it makes all the difference to have the living fountain made by Francini and all these other artists in my consciousness and in a kind of a physical way. It's very different than seeing just a still picture of it. One of the things that I was questioning at home was the paradoxical condition of the queen, that she was both a base person who had to give birth to a child, yet an elevated person at the same time. And I discovered a whole group of modes of writing about paradox here while ITATI. The wonderful thing was a sonnet that was written for the Queen's Garden in Fontainebleau was something that I was able to understand and go over with Lina Bolzoni, a preeminent scholar of Italian and French literature. She helped me understand the significance and the depth of the sonnet for my garden, where the Queen was lauded, yet in a funny, paradoxical way. That all happened at ITATI.